Okay, so now really for real, settle into your meditation posture. I mean, there's really no particular correct way to sit. Really at our level, the best way to sit is the way that you're most comfortable. But they do say that keeping the body nicely aligned and the breath steady and all the bits and pieces, the traditional way of sitting in the meditation posture according to the Lam Rim, it just helps the energy flow a little bit more easily, helps your breath flow a little bit more easily, the blood flow a little bit more easily. And when you get to the very subtle levels of meditation and you're starting to think about the channels, then and the chakras and all the very, very subtle bits and pieces that you can't see if you open the body up with a scalpel, you want everything to be flowing well energetically. So they say it's also better for your digestion. They say this is the best way to sit. So if you are sitting at a chair with your feet down, have your knees about a hip's width apart. And imagine you're sitting right on top of your sits bones. Shoulders are aligned with the hips. And imagine your spine is a string of pearls of light stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. You just imagine you're lengthening. Put some space in between those vertebrae. Just feel like you're getting a little bit longer, a little bit taller. Now, as if you have a crayon taped to the crown of your head, pointing upwards. Imagine you're drawing an arc with the crown of your head on the ceiling. So you're going up and over. So you're not flopping your head forward. It's very heavy. It'll pull you out of alignment. So just very gently hinge the head from the top of the spine. Eyes are down, looking along the length of the nose. Tip of the tongue is on the roof of the mouth, and just relax the jaw. Now bring your awareness to the crown of the head and just release the scalp, the forehead, the eyes, the nose, the cheeks, the whole face. And then release any tension in the back of the head at the occipital bone. And relax the back of the tongue. Release any tension in the ears, the inner ear, the temples. And then bring your awareness down to the back of the neck and the shoulders and just allow them to drop down. Relax the throat, the chest and the belly and the limbs. And bring the mind to the breath. Just notice the very subtle sensations of air as you're inhaling and exhaling. Be aware of any sounds in your environment and try not to be distracted by those sounds. And just use that inner spy to notice your introspection, to notice when you are being pulled away. So bring the mind back to the breath again and notice the thoughts as they are arising. So what we were doing this evening in our earlier meditation, as you're breathing in, just breathe in normally, and as you're exhaling, just exhale any unwanted thoughts, feelings, emotions, anything that no longer serves you. Just say to yourself, release as you breathe out. Breathe in. This is a way of putting some space in between our thoughts. And release. Breathe in. And release. And as you're doing that, you can take a step back and just be like an objective observer, just watching the mind without criticism, some level of objectivity. Now, bring to mind all the people of your life, the ones you love, your spouses and children, best friends, very dear neighbors. And then there's those folk in our life who are just difficult for us. And that might also be a family member. Maybe they've harmed you. And then there's those people in our life who are just complete strangers for us. And keeping in mind, they can all change place at any time. They're also equal, the same as you and me, in their wish to be happy and their wish to be free from suffering and having this extraordinary capacity for enlightened mind. So I just think there is no negativity that cannot be purified. And this purification process is basically a psychological one. We create negativity with our mind, so we can change it by creating positivity instead. So we're doing this practice of Vajrasattva in the context of the 4 opponent powers. And we start with the power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all past lives. Think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma, and we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions, and having harmed others, we will necessarily experience suffering in the future. So logically, it makes sense, given we don't want any more, to pull out these karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want this future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret our delusions, anger, attachment, unhealthy desire, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others, and think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance. So we rely upon, we turn to the Buddha, the doctor. We see Vajrasattva as a doctor who has methods that we can use to purify. And we're not asking Buddha Vajrasattva to forgive us. We're using his methods, his medicine, to heal ourselves, to do the work ourselves. So imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head, facing the same way as you. And you can also imagine he's maybe 1 or 2 inches above the crown of your head. You can also imagine that this is your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. It's this beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And they're being crossed represents the union of these two, which symbolizes enlightenment, infinite wisdom, infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So here we come to the development of compassion, the wish for people to be, sentient beings, to be free from suffering. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, and the very beings we have harmed and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of someone you harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we've ever harmed since beginningless time. And then think about those who have harmed you and have compassion for them, because the harm they've caused you is going to ripen as suffering for them in the future. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these sentient beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. So now we come to the medicine. This is the practice of purification. And we start with the body, and imagine Vajrasattva sends compassionately, very happily, powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully, and it pours into your crown and fills you completely, and it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid, and this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hom Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mempi yata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hom pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mempi yata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hom pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mempi yata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hom pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mempi yata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hom pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mempi yata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hom pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mempi yata sawa kama sita me Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified. And just think there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. So the moment that anyone sees you, hears you, feels you, smells you, it benefits their mind. So the next is the purification of the speech, and Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and forcefully enters your crown, filling your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, and this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So just imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and useless speech and inappropriate speech and lying and talking badly about others behind their backs. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yata sawa kamasita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ha ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hom pe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita. Dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yata sawa kamasita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ha ho bhagawan Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hom pe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita. Dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yata sawa kamasita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ha ho bhagawan. Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hom pe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yata sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ha ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hom pe vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yata sawa kamasita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ha ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hum te. So feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified. And imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others with your speech. And particularly yourself, because you'll be hearing it as well. So every syllable that falls out of your mouth is of benefit to yourself and others. And the next is a purification of the mind. And Vajrasattva now very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So it's just the same as when you walk into a pitch black room and you flick on the switch, the light in the room instantly dispels the darkness. So it's the same here. The moment the light from Vajrasattva's heart touches your heart chakra, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, all the attachment and neediness and anger and violence and depression, and resentment, jealousy, bitterness, grudges, anxiety, everything instantly dispelled, not one atom left as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yata sawa kamasita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ha ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hom pe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita. Dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yata sawa kamasita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ha ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hom pe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita. Dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yata sawa kamasita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ha ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hom pe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita dita meboa sutokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yata sawa kamasita me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahom Pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, these are the cause of all of our own suffering, the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified. They're just gone, finished. And now there's no space in your heart for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So next is the purification of the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. So getting more and more subtle here. And imagine Vajrasattva sends light and nectar, it fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your mind. Om Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mepi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahom Pe. So now feel you're completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. So next we come to the power of resolve, and this is the fourth and final step in the purification process, and a really crucial one. It's where we make a decision to refrain from harming with our body, our speech, and our mind. So whatever it is that you have been working on, rejoice in your progress, and then just think of something to work on between now and tomorrow. Don't make it too difficult. Keep a reasonable timeline. Keep it short. But just use your introspection, that inner spy, to notice when you are working on something that's virtuous, and when your mind is wandering off, when your body is wandering off, when your speech is wandering off. And very gently bring it back. And Vajrasattva, imagine, delighted with us, wanting to merge with your mind, melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown, and think my Guru's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same thing. So next, a little bit on emptiness. In emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. In this way, we can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. And then just dedicate, and also they don't exist from their own side, sorry. And then think, the way things are appearing to me, the way I see things, the way I read things, the way I interpret things may not necessarily be the way they actually are or the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, the positive energy you've created doing this purification practice to all living beings. And I forgot about our dear friend Israel, who passed away, and who, this is his main practice. He was a very beloved member of Tupta Noble Ling community. So I think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And for His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. And Lama Zopa Rinpoche's swift return by His Holiness, the lamp of the Gaiden teachings, the supreme refuge Lama Zopa, has departed in order to rouse to the Dharma disciples who cling to permanence. Supreme Being, you took upon yourself the Kadam teacher's way of life and were bound to it night and day, greatly benefiting the teachings and transmigratory beings. Great master of the teachings, supreme guide for East and West, hidden yogi, Lama Tupten Zopa. Unrivaled Lama Zopa, you took His Holiness the Sovereign Lord of the Victorious Ones as your crown and followed all his instructions. Benefactor Lama Zopa, for the many public and personal needs of Tibetans and others, you opened the vase of resources and cleared away the suffering of hardship. One of great mind, Lama Zopa, you held helpless and voiceless animals with a mind of loving kindness and were their holy savior and protector. Siddha Lama Zopa, Lord of the ocean of mandalas, with the wings of emptiness and compassion, you crossed the waters of the generation and completion stages. Lama Tupten Zopa, great hidden yogi, ornament of the activities of the Gaiden teachings, in truth a great son of the victorious ones. And for Lama Ursel, having thought of me and other transmigratory beings of the degenerate age, from receipt of lotus and sun at the heart of Sangwa Yeshi, may the jewel that fulfills all wishes, emanating again with the brilliance of 10,000 suns, smile swiftly and without obstacles to our eyes filled with tears of faith. And for Lama Ursel, Venerable One, to you whose kindness exceeds that of all the conquerors, for those wanderers in far-off places, especially the West, mindful of your loving concern for us and intentionally descending again into a family of a far distant land, we make this request. O Lama, please live long. And for Geshe Shera, beloved teacher, leading your students toward wisdom and compassion, explaining through exacting discernment the steps of the graduated path, you are the unequal guide. Please live a long and stable life. Okay, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you, Alexis, for hosting. Lots of love, everybody. Sleep well. Have a wonderful weekend. And I will see you on Monday.